Okay, so since most of them have not got the video, let me just give us the quick review of where we stop on the last class, starting from this particular part one video, which you are going to see again. So, because good, we start talking about the JavaScript variables, what the variable is in JavaScript, and why we need the JavaScript to be able to to implement some data. Because sometimes when you are designing your website might need to collect some data from some pages, and you need to process those data. So we need a concept we call variable to store those data, and that's why we talk about the variables, that we use variable to store data. In our the last class, we talked about how variable can be used in the JavaScript, how you can form a variable here again, do you need to follow to form a variable, and that variable can be defined for different type of information you want to store. We also move to practical aspect, how you can declare a variable. That's when you create a form, that when you fill the form like this, you can store the data you enter from that form. You can store that data inside a location in your JavaScript called variable. Because anytime you fill the form, like a login now, the login collect information about the username and password, and that information can be sent to the JavaScript for manipulation. But before JavaScript can manipulate it, that information you put on the form must be stored in a variable in JavaScript for processing to take place on it. So we talk about how you can define a variable here in JavaScript, and how to get a value from your HTML form and store into that variable. So that is first thing we discussed in the last class. After that again, we now move to what we call operators. So operator is from the second video here now. The second video we talk about different type of the operator that is available. We talk about the arithmetical operator. We also talk about okay. So we talk about arithmetical operator and logical operator. We now talk about how you can use this operator to design a form here now. We want to create a form, and that form is to collect the true number and perform addition on the true number. So that's why we create something like this form to set the first number, second number. We use one of the operator we call arithmetical operator to perform the addition. We also perform the subtraction on that particular form too. So we need to create we write two JavaScript function, addition for carry out the addition, and the subtraction that carry out the subtraction. That's why we be able to get this value. So which means that we talk about how operator can be used to perform different type of the calculation in JavaScript. I think that is exactly where we stop the last class, when we're talking about that particular operators. So I'm just trying to and I give you something like this assignment, that you should design a JavaScript, right? Design an HTML page that can perform this type of this calculation now. A JavaScript that can perform this calculation. So you are going to create a variable to store this information. You now write a JavaScript code that perform that calculation. So I think that is what we did in the last class again. So, but today we are going to continue from this, because we only talked about only one operator in the last class, and that operator is a arithmetical operator. So that is exactly what we discuss based on what we have here. We talk about arithmetical operator and the assignment operator again, and we also talk about the arithmetical assignment operator. But what we want to look at now is comparison operator. But before you go to comparison operator, I want us to look at another practical activity on what we did in the last class again. And this activity is going to be like you want to design a JavaScript form. You want to design an HTML page. And this particular HTML page, the page is going to the HTML page is going to try to collect the information about some student now. So information like this, what you want to collect. You want to create HTML page and go to accept the matric number. You go to accept the matric number from student, and you go to accept what? The information about what? The student what? Name. We want to collect the student name from the form, and after that you can collect what? This part. Okay, let's say JAMB what? Number. JAMB JAMB exam number now. Student name. After student name, we want to get the English what? English score in the JAMB. I want to get the what? The mathematics. Okay, math score. I want to get what? Maybe ICT score again. So these are the three information we want to collect the data about in an HTML form. So after this one again, I now want us to calculate what we call a total score for this student. And after compute total score, we compute the average score again for student. Finally, we can now determine what we call the grade or remark. We got to call remark now. But on this particular remark, we want to use a condition that could go to go if score is above two two if score is above 200. Okay, if score is above 200, let's say if score is above 210, that means the person university admission. That's what we want to give here now. But so remark is going to base on this, something like this again, university admission. But if the score, okay, 2 and 1, 3 now, so university admission. But if the score is above 170, that's going to be what? Polytechnic admission. But if the score is above 145 or 150, say 150 now, that would be what? College of education admission. You can see now. So these are the three conditions you want to do, but we implement this one later because there's a new topic we are going to discuss today if our time permit. That's going to be what? Using what you call what? Comparison operator. That is what we want to discuss. Before we discuss comparison operator, I want us to refresh the use of the word arithmetical operator again too. So the first thing now is I will create a HTML form that I'm going to accept all this value. You get it now. And to do that again, I'm returning back to what? To this our form. There's a form we used the last class again. We call it what? The calculator form like this now. So I will open my calculator form here now. Okay, so I'll open this calculator form here. I will now create a new form from this calculator form here now. So this time around now, I will use I'll say save this calculator form as well. Maybe JAMB exam form now. That is it. I'll say file, save as exam form. 10 minutes. Save as exam form underscore JS now .html. So quickly, I need to start changing some of this information here now. This is going to be what? Matric number. And I'm going to call what? Math norm. So second one here is going to be what? Student what? Student name now. Student name. As this is going to be what? ST what name now. Okay. Student name here. Student name what? Here. Matric number here. Matric number what? Here. So I'm going to duplicate this second row now for another 3 or 4 rows again. So the first one, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to change this information here now. For other information, start from the student name here. The student name here, ST name. So here now is going to be okay, placeholder. I can remove that one, not to take most of my time. Placeholder here, I can remove this placeholder here too. Okay. So after the student one number, the next one is going to be what? English what? Score. English score here. So English score. And that is the next one here. So I'm going to call this one what? EN score like this. So ENSC. That EN score. Okay. That's the English score. And this will be what? English score. So here there and here again. So the next one is going to be what? Mathematics score again. So this mathematics score. So here again, I put score here. And here is going to be what? MAT score. MAT score. MA score. And here again, MA score. Here again. That's for the mathematics score. And the last one is what? ICT score. That's what? ICT score now. So that is a okay. So here I'm going to be what? ICT score. And again, ICT score again. So this time around now, quickly, the form I needed is now complete here now. So I don't need this one again, this row. Okay, so let me see how this form look like first before we move ahead again. So I want to check this particular one, this exam form. Okay, so now you can see the form now. You are going to check that in matric number, student name, maths or English score. So this button now I'm going to change to what? To compute all the grade now. So all the button we have here, I have to still modify those buttons now. So I'll give the button now calculate result, or I say get what? Get result. Get result. That will be the button. So I will now remove this CSI I've changed here now. And I'll change the function to what? Get result. This will be the JavaScript code we are going to implement here. So I don't need other button, only one button is what I need. I will save this code again here and see preview the same page. You can see now. So here's where I want the result to appear. I want 3 results on this particular section here now. So the first one here is going to be total score. So I'll duplicate this one 3 times here now. So I press enter key here, total score, and one more, and the grade 2. That's going to be the final remark. So the first one here, where the answer is going to be what? Total score. Okay, because JavaScript is used to compute the result on the web page. So you go to what? Total score here now. That for total score, and the total score here now. Okay, so that is it. And second one is going to be what? The average score now. Average score. Okay, so average score. So here I'm going to name it what? AVG score here now, and then avg what score, and the last one here is going to be what, where we are putting the grade or remark. Okay, I can call it grade now, and this is going to be what, final remarks for student now. So I can call it remark and call it grade. Let me say remark now. Okay, and this is going to be what, remark 2. So placeholder here, we don't need placeholder here, we don't need placeholder here, we don't need placeholder here, we don't need, and we don't need. Okay, so I save this form now, and here is the final form. You get now. So but I don't want this last 3 form where the result is going to appear. I don't want it to be editable. So what I just need to do to add another form attribute, we call it read only. So read only, because that's where the result will appear. So I don't want anybody to be able to change that value. I will also pass the read only one here too, and I also pass the read only one here too. So with this one, nobody is able to go to be able to change whatever we have inside. My cursor cannot be inside again, just like all this one I can type one inside. I can't type inside the last 2 form here now, last 3 form here. So and one more thing, this section we have here for this the phone number, email, you get now, we don't need that. So we don't need it, so I can just take it all out like this tr completely, and take that tr out now. So up to here, and that's all. So I save this particular page now. You can see now. So let me change the title. Okay, I want this one to work to complete now. It's going to cover student grade. This is going to be what, using operator and variable. Okay, that's topic. But here now we are now computing this is going to be what, examination what, computation, examination result computation calculator. Okay, I save this page. So finally we have this. So the next thing now to do now is we have 1 minute. We have to define the JavaScript function, JavaScript file that I'm going to process this information. So the JavaScript file I'm going to use here now, I must add it to this page, and from here I have to use this one, exam calculator. I call it exam what, exam result. Okay, I call that JavaScript exam result dot one js. So I can now create a new JavaScript file here inside this folder that contain our JavaScript. I will right click on the script, I say new. I will now say exam result dot one js now. That is it. So in this JavaScript again, I will now write a JavaScript function that system go to execute once I click on the button called what, because there is a button here. Once I click on the button called, a button that we have here to perform the calculation is called what, get result. This is this button now. I click on the get result button. This JavaScript code need to what, execute. So this is the JavaScript file which I want to execute here now. So I will go and create a function for this particular name, because JavaScript code I'm going to compute the result here, I must define it. So I want to call that JavaScript code, I want to give those code a name. But I use a function keyword to define the name. I call it get result. So the code I'm going to perform the result is going to be written inside this function. And that's why I'm now calling this function here by using onClick get result. This get result name, it must be defined inside the JavaScript file. And it's in this get result I'm going to write the JavaScript word code. So I can save this file, and I see the second word file here now. So I'm just trying to wait for the time for this session to end so that I can start writing code. Okay, that means complete now.